Hey there, good morning. I'm John. Today is Monday, May 19th, 2025, and this is a new week, a new Monday, and a new entry in my daily vlog. Where each weekday morning at least, I come in the studio first thing and share with you what I've been doing, what I plan to do next, and how it's going. My endeavors to make content creation indefinitely sustainable, and BC pointed out in the comments last week that I say that every morning, but haven't really had a concrete update on where those things are going, and I want to share that with you since BC asked at the end of this vlog. But a lot to cover first, so let me try to get to it so we don't go too long. First, let's talk about Friday. Go back before the weekend. I had determined I was going to do a new long form to get out on Saturday because the stats had dipped, and in fact, I did work on that. I worked on a kind of a trailer reaction, an editorial about the forthcoming Pac-Man game called Shadow Labyrinth that's based on Secret Level Circle, the gritty, dark, bloody Pac-Man reimagined thing. I wanted to talk about it because I knew it would probably be, I know it's controversial. Some people think it's great, some people think it's stupid, but that's the kind of thing that I want to talk about, you know, get our ideas out and get conversations going on. So I worked that video most of the day. I had a lot of correspondence going on. You know that we're working this proposal, so I had to work on that quite a bit. Had some calls. George and I must have talked for 2 hours about stuff on Friday. A lot of things are moving in the background, but I got that done, of course. But before we get to that on Saturday, let's talk about Friday plays that came out on Friday. That was Dark Cavern, the one I did Thursday. I got to members on Thursday and everyone got it on Friday. Wow, a return to form for Friday plays. Dark Cavern. Who knew the Dark Cavern would do so well? 5,500 views on Dark Cavern since Friday. Did a great job. You can see well above our kind of that cone of typical performance there. It's always nice when a Friday plays does well because it's a nice regular thing. And I see more and more comments from people who are like, Friday plays has become a ritual for me. I can't wait to see what it is. And then I play it on the weekend. It's something I love that. That's so cool. It's neat to become part of someone's routine. That keeps them coming back over and over and over. And it's rewarding to me, and it's cool to find it's rewarding to more and more viewers. Did a lot of updates on that proposal over into the Saturday, into the weekend. So Saturday morning, I released that video about Shadow Labyrinth. I can't tell you how many times I almost say Shadow Complex because I played that game so much in the 2000s, the 2010s, whatever that was. But Shadow Labyrinth, that video did okay. Since it came out Saturday, a couple of days now, 2,100 views. And it'll continue to be a value for the next, I think that game comes out in maybe 2 months or something, so we'll see how that does. Then on Sunday, George had another bit-by-bit news item. That dropped and has done very well again, so kind of ping-ponging. He has those ups and downs, but as he sticks to it, this one just overnight has done 2,100 views on the bit-by-bit news segment. I think it is just he finds topics that grab someone's attention, they jump in. That's how a lot of videos work, you know. And when you're doing on a regular basis like this, you know, reading news articles, sometimes you don't hit on some that are, you know, a broad audience base or eager to jump in. So, but that one was a great one. So with all of that going on over the weekend, what a performance over the weekend. Views are okay. Subscribers went kind of crazy, but you'll see in the charts. Let me bring up my little chart here. You know, I like to be at or above this midpoint, 130 subscribers and 13,000 views average over the last 7 days. You can see in the chart in the upper left there that we had that dip Wednesday, Thursday last week. So we're suffering from those stats on the average, but we're still above our targets. 13.7 thousand views, 220 subscribers average. Off the chart. We've had a spike over the last week or so. Like some of it, I know where it's coming from, but some of it is just like, what? You know. Anyway, interesting. And as we're closing in so closely on this crazy milestone, right? So when we spoke on Friday, we were at 97,500, a little over a half. And I said maybe, if we're lucky on Monday, we might hit 98. Well, we got lucky. 98,200 and nearly a half last time I looked. So, wow. Wow. 98. Yeah, that's under 2 away. That's, man. Okay. Okay. let's talk about today, and then we'll talk a little bit about kind of that update that BC asked for. It's Monday, so I'll record the next episode of Celebrating Yesteryear for Retro Days and get that delivered, of course. Tomorrow morning we have a pod edit, so I'll have to do some podcast preparation to get ready for tomorrow. I don't think I've touched that episode since we recorded it a week ago. I have a couple of long-form videos that I think I can get done just in the space of the afternoon today. I'm going to choose which one I want to jump into. It might be a never played. It might be a thrift item. There's a couple that I want to poke around. There's some more too coming up. So I'll choose one of those that sparks my interest today, and I'll work on that to deliver today. And then eventually, we have the 1980 Atari tier shorts that are starting. I think they started Sunday. Are already doing well with 3D Tic-Tac-Toe. So we'll have those all week. And then those will last me just over a week, so I need to go ahead and get the M Network shorts, push those through, so I'll work on some of that. And then we have a meeting this afternoon. So, all right, so BC asked in the comments, I said last week, hey, you every morning in the video you talk about, working to become indefinitely sustainable, and now that you approach 100,000, how are you doing? Like, how is that? And I don't necessarily share like dollar amounts of my budget, and I think that's personal enough. But I can speak in specific enough terms that I think you understand how it would apply to you, and you can have a comprehension of what it might mean to me. So when I lost my job in 2022. I was making a really good salary and packing away more money than I needed. I was putting money away in savings, and because I was putting money in savings every week, it's how I've been able to do this, because I'm not making enough money strictly off of my content creation to pay my bills and put gas in the car and go to McDonald's, all the little life things that you do, go to the movies, the things, you can survive. That's one thing. And I could, if I wanted to live the way I used to, I could have just jumped into a new job, right? Been easy peasy. But I wanted to try to ramp up what I'm doing to match and return myself and my family to the budget that they had, so that they can get, do the things that, it's the reason people work, is to do the things they like to do. So those are the things. So as such, I've been drawing off of that savings. There have been a few months over the last 2 or 3 that I've drawn zero from savings because I've been getting better. But I think last month I had to draw a little bit, again, about half as much as I had been doing. So in general, I would say that right now I'm making about half the money I was making back in my old job, right? So I'm making about half that. So it doesn't necessarily mean I need to return to that salary. It's just that, you ask, is it done? Am I there? Am I sustainable yet? And it's so hard to tell. It's like polishing a stone, and you're like, is it smooth enough yet? I don't know. Let's polish it for a little while longer. Maybe it was fine a little while ago. Maybe it's done now. It's at some point you decide it's done. Maybe a better analogy. That analogy is not perfect. It's like building a bridge. That's what it's like. So you can build a bridge, a rickety bridge, and you can walk from one bank to the other and not get wet. Is that a successful bridge? Well, maybe. But if you have to tiptoe across it and go single file and one person at a time and no heavy loads and whatever, because the bridge might collapse, well, that bridge isn't done. Right now I have an okay bridge between where I was and where I want to be, and I can cross between those banks okay without getting my feet wet, but I don't trust that bridge. That bridge is not rock solid, it's not stable. You want a bridge to be stronger than it needs to be to withstand unexpected storms and heavy loads and things like that. And so I need my financial stability to be stronger than it needs to be to withstand downturn in markets, bad months, things like that. Right now I'm living on that ragged edge of I'm surviving. I'm paying my bills and I'm happy, but I'm not putting money back into savings, right? I'm not Sustainability means long-term, indefinite, like, I'm fine, like if I was employed, I have the very basic health insurance now. I would like to have better coverage, right? I have dental work I kind of need that I've been putting off because I don't need it right now, things like that. I need to go to an eye appointment to get new contact lenses. I've been putting that off and wearing old lenses. There are all these little things that I am shortcutting and half-stepping in order to push this thing I really want to succeed forward. So, It's a long, convoluted answer to tell you I don't really know when sustainability hits. I think we won't realize it's hit until it's in the rearview mirror and we go, oh, I think maybe a few months ago is when we hit that mark. So BC, I feel like this is probably an unsatisfactory answer to your question, but I'm also trying to be as honest as I can, because the answer is I don't know, other than I know I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm at a point where I can continue to push forward and I'm not looking for another job. But I'm also, like with this proposal we talked about for some testing opportunities, I'm looking for other ways to monetize the reputation and talents that I have in order to further solidify that bridge, to put a few more trusses in it, to put a few more beams and columns and repave it, all those things that make this bridge I'm building to security stable enough, not just to survive, but to withstand unexpected things, which is what I think a responsible human grown adult has to do for themselves and their family. It's not just about, well, I made it through this week. It's a matter of like, well now, but what happens next week? What happens when you have vehicle problems, or you need a new roof, or you need, those things happen. And I can't sustain those right now, or I don't have that kind of, so I'm living on the faith of things will go status quo until I can get there. Sometimes they don't. We had that illness last year, right? Didn't expect that. That was a pain. No pun intended, doubly. So I'm continuing to work really hard. I'm continuing to push. I'm seeing growth, obviously. We have ebbs and flows in terms of revenue and engagement and views and all those things. But overall, as we push and push out tendrils, make new connections, find new opportunities to reinforce this business, whose cornerstone is content creation, every new little bit helps, but I don't yet know how to tell you when I've succeeded. I can just tell you that I haven't yet failed, and things are currently looking up. It feels like a cop-out answer, but it's the most complete and thorough answer I have at this point, and it's one that it's probably long overdue to talk about, because it's something I deal with and think about every day in the back of my head, but don't necessarily verbalize. So that's why all of the live streams and all the clips on my hat and all the support and every single one of those things, every single one of those is another little nail in the bridge. It's another wrench, another bolt. Every one of those little things that I say, every little bit matters. It really does. It really, really does. And that's why I continue to do all these various things to try to find avenues to reinforce what I hope to be a long and prosperous future. That got really philosophical and real, but I think that's what you want and you deserve. So. To that, let me go get busy making a goofy video game piece of content, shall I? I'm going to thank you, of course, for popping in to check out today's vlog, if that's what you did. If you're one of those amazing plebes here every day, you know that I already love you for that. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get off to a good week. I have high hopes for it. Let's see, did I do everything? Yeah, I did. Cool. Don't forget to do something good for yourself this Monday, and I'll talk to you again next day. Bye-bye.